Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of What Did Manga Boy Read This Week? I read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then that's 12. Bam, 9 to 12, just like that. So it was a pretty good week for me. Sorry this video is a little bit later than normal. I got a little caught up doing my arts, my printing arts. So hopefully in a few weeks I can show you guys something cool with that, but we'll see. My cat is causing some trouble. I'm just going to show you guys this. That's Ebony. That's Sebastian's sister. She's not often a camera cat, but today I guess she is trying to be having a fun time with the curtains. Anyways, let's get right into it. To start with, we've got Peach Boy Riverside. This is an anime that got recently released this year. I think it was summer season, maybe. Anyways, this has gotten pretty interesting. We find out that the Peach power, I guess we want to call it, really makes you an ogre killer and super strong. We also find out once ogres lose their horns, they become totally hated by everything. So they can't go back to being an ogre with the ogre people. They also can't hang out with humans because they're not human. And so they just live a life of regret. We get to find this Deku Tree guy. That was pretty cool. We get to see some other demi-human tribes, which was also really neat. And we get to see what the Princess's Resolve is really about. Some great action in this series. I am really enjoying it so far. I do wish I had a few more volumes to read. They are coming out, though, at a pretty decent pace, to say the least. So that is good. The guy's author's name is pretty interesting. Cool Kyoshininja. I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, I definitely recommend reading that series if you guys are fans of fantasy manga. It's not an isekai at all. It's just fantasy. So, you know, a good fantasy title without an isekai hook to it is always pretty good. Next, we'll talk about Yoshi no Zoikara. The frog in the well does not know the ocean. So, by the same author who does Barakamon, Setsuki Yoshino. So this series, it follows a mangaka who's trying to make his first work, which is eerily similar to Barakamon. The author goes out to do a book signing in Tokyo. It's his first time in Tokyo. He's very nervous. He says some things he shouldn't say. Like, you know, how he's going to do his best until the series gets canceled. And then, to a fan, he says this. And then his editor's like, well, what if you don't get canceled? And she's like very heartfelt and invested in this series. So she was like, what do you mean when it gets canceled? You know, of course, the fan is like, what do you mean it's getting canceled? And so we get to see kind of some insider info on that, because I'm sure that is probably how some mangaka do feel. In volume 3, the last volume, we have a cat join the crew, which is great. I love cats. You guys already knew that. And, you know, also it's the last volume. We see a little bit about, though not in this volume, but in the other volume, why he became a manga artist and how he decided to make this choice. We also find out a little bit more, about, what's the word for it? His editor, his fans. It's really just, what's the word for it? It's like they ended it. It's like if you read Barakamon, like the first 2 or 3 volumes, and then you skip to the last volume. You know, it's like, yeah, you can kind of see what happened there in the volume, in the storyline, but you miss everything in the middle, like the development. And so I did really like this series. It was pretty good, but I can tell it just, wasn't popular. It just kind of ends. I remember I watched Prof Otaku's opinion on this series when they first released volume 3. I think it was back in May or June. And he had a similar thought where he was like, good story. Can't really recommend it to people because it totally just ends. But if you can get past that and you'd still be willing to experience a pretty good story, then I would recommend picking it up. Especially since Barakamon is so out of print right now. This is only a 3-volume long series, and I don't think it's out of print or difficult to find right now. So it's not that much of a time investment. It is kind of wordy, so it does take some time to actually read it, but is really interesting. So, you know, the time kind of does fly. It does make your eyes maybe a little bit more tired than it does most series, but that's, you know, fine. Muscles are better than magic. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I posted a story about this. First time I posted a story in like forever. I really love this series, and I wish it got more power, more popularity. There we go. I was going to say more staying power, but I think popularity is probably more accurate. But yeah, this series is so good. This is everything I wanted Mashal to be. I thought Mashal was going to be this to the next level. No. This is what I thought Mashal would be. This, in my opinion, is much better than Mashal. Maybe it's because I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan. I know I'm going to get flamed, but like... This is just everything I thought it would be. Okay, this is everything I thought Mashal was going to be. So I went into Mashal with the wrong expectations. And I went into this series with my Mashal expectations, thinking it was going to be a Mashal knockoff. No, this is the Mashal OG. So we get to see some sick magic, a sick tournament fight, the elf, you know, going to town. Oh, and then like our main elf girl, Fila, she ends up fighting somebody, and they're like, you know, it's just not fair. I had to fight a lolly 1700-year-old person who's so experienced in magic, and like, you know, she probably has no chance against me, I probably have no chance against her since I'm only 28. And like, she's like, no, I'm like, you know, 16 or 17. Yeah, I was dying. And she's like 17. Oh no, like she doesn't even have the lolly excuse to go off of. So I was dying laughing. But yeah, we also get to see, you know, Babadanga get pissed because his sister. Well, let's be honest. You knew his sister was going to stand no chance against Yuri. Yuri's got the muscle god on his side. And I love... Yuri learns how to do freaking water magic in this manga. And you know how he learns it? He goes, did you know muscles are 90% water? You know, because, like, that's really pretty much almost as ours. Muscle tissue stores a lot of water in it to make it keep its shape. That's why creatine really helps you bulk up quickly, because it helps you retain water for longer. Anyway, so... that's just like my very limited muscle knowledge, okay, guys? I'm not a big fitness science guy, but I do know a little bit, even if it may not be 100% accurate. Anyways, so he he can use water magic because he uses his muscles, water, to take down a character. And I was like, oh my god, I love this series. It is so funny. This tournament arc was so great. I do wish it was longer. I mean, I think it was only like a volume and a half, maybe 2 volumes. But I loved every minute of it. I could not put this down. Again, strongly recommend this series. If you can get your hands on it, you know, muscles are magic. Muscles are better than magic. It's great. And I love Yuri's, like, the whole time people are like, this guy's so boring. He's not using any magic. What the hell? And he's like, what? Do these guys not understand? My muscles are magic. My muscles come from God. And I was like dying. Definitely recommend this series. Please read it if you guys haven't. If you haven't checked it out yet, it is great. Good fighting, good magic, good fantasy. Noragami 14. I'm so far behind my Noragami. I did order a bunch during the Right Stuff holiday sale this year. This year. This was pretty good. We continue off of right where we left off with Yato, you know, recovering from his dad's attack on Hiyori, and, you know, her family. We get to see a little bit more about Hiyori's family and how they're more spiritually attuned. I did find this volume to be quite interesting. Yato continues his quest to become a god of happiness and, you know, positivity. We have a little bit more development into what his dad's up to and how it is affecting Baishoman. Very cool. Noragami is one of those series where it is, for whatever reason, I really don't understand it. It is polarizing. For me, I really love it. Not everybody really likes it. Some people think it's pretty okay. But most people think that it's either great or it's overrated. And I fall in the great category, so I'm overrating it, I guess. But I really enjoy it. I do think that this is a great series. And it's got our 2 blessed duos right on the cover here, which is really cool. So I thought that was a sweet cover for that as well. This is a bizarre manga, okay? Magaimono, super magic action entertainment. It certainly is all four of those things. Anyways, so our main character here uses these, they're kind of like transmutation circles to cast magic. You need to have a circle in order to cast magic. He has one on all 10 fingers, and so he's able to cast 10 different spells, which is unheard of because most people can only have 1 or 2 spirit circles, you know, using at once, let alone on their body. But for some reason, that guy's different. These are the artifacts that let people cast magic. They implant themselves into the human body, which can take you over, or it can give you great power. This manga is almost all magic. It is all magic action. It does have some pretty funny conspiracy theory things, though. It does have our main character hunting down like lizard people, UFOs, and things like that. They explain these conspiracy theories by use of, you know, the magic system here. So I truly don't have a super good idea of what's going on right now, but I am very invested. I'm loving it. It is a B action movie, and you know, those are good to read sometimes. I definitely recommend reading this if you guys like old school Shonen Jump, you know, manga, which is actually why I picked this up. I feel like this just screams old school Shonen Jump shonen, and I gotta say it was pretty much exactly how I imagined it. The cover is probably a little overwhelming and noisy, but you can see kind of the 80s nostalgia with the grids going over here with the purple background, this classic UFO laser, and these circles here for magic. I mean, the character himself is probably more of a product of the 90s, his design with this big sword in his trench coat. We don't know too much about our main character here, or really about the villains they're fighting against. Just that our main character is a huge conspiracy theory nut, and it kind of is reminiscent of Men in Black in that regard to me. Anyways, but I do recommend reading this to that kind of genre of people that click, that really miss the old school Shonen Jump days of just nonsense magic powers, or people who think conspiracy theories are fun and don't take them seriously. If you guys take conspiracy theories seriously, you probably will be very upset with that manga. Can't Stop Cursing You is a pretty decent thriller. I first learned about it on Jake the Pog's channel and decided to eventually grab it when it was on sale. I forget if it was on sale during the holiday sale, but I think it was. Maybe it was a little bit before that. The main concept is these people can make these deals with these devils or demons. They're called cursed gods, and they give you a power to help kill people at a cost. And so the first volume follows this guy who essentially calls people. If he calls you and you pick up the phone, then you die. And it's up to our guy, our main character, to figure out who's doing it, why, and how can he, you know, prove it. He has the power, the main character, to ask his like companion. This thing right here reminds me of like an Ajin, or that guy from Kingdom Hearts, Ansem's Guardian. You know, questions, and the creature can answer by shaking its head yes or no. You can also see he's been afflicted by a curse, and they'll appear with that same kind of Ajin-looking guy as well. The second one follows this girl who curses people with a bruise, and then somehow the bruise spreads throughout the body. Obviously, I know how, but I don't want to spoil it. It is a series that it does have a great overlying plot, but the first 2 volumes are very episodic. Each volume only covers one case, which I really like because that lets me get really involved into it. If you guys like ID Invaded, or Id Invaded rather, is how I believe it's supposed to be said, because it's talking about the id of the human mind, you would like this series. If you guys like Psychopaths, it's another similar series to this. The main thing is really just that it's, you know, thriller kind of investigative mystery manga with some fantasy elements to it as well. You know, it's pretty good. I'll keep reading it on for sure. Do I think it's amazing? No, but it does have the potential to get even better. A kid from the last Dungeon Boonies moved to a starter town, volume 3 and 4. We have Lloyd and crew finish up the tournament. They go to this random town and pull out a sword. This it's just okay to me. If people hadn't told me that it's really good, then I probably wouldn't have picked it up. It is a funny series. I do feel like I am not the target demographic for it. This seems to have way more of a female comedic note in mind, or comedy audience in mind. I do like it. I just don't think it's as funny. Maybe because I can't relate to it as much. It is pretty funny. I just wish there was a lot more action into it. Though we do get to see Lloyd lay a smackdown on one of the sisters, who is actually a disciple of her grandfather's fighting style, which is very cool to see right here. But again, I really thought that there was gonna be a lot more fighting, but it's super comedic. I don't know why I thought there'd be more fighting. It's blatantly not that kind of manga to have a lot of fighting in it. So I wouldn't binge this series. It is definitely a good series to read, one volume every once in a while. So I believe I am caught up on it now, so that is probably what I'm going to be doing. That's not to say that I don't like this manga. I do like it. It is just not my favorite. Speaking of something that's not my favorite, this is not my target. This is not targeted to my demographic, but I love this. This is great. So a part of it that is targeted towards me is that it is about superheroes, kind of. So our main characters have to kiss these guys. They're called kigurumi, which are pretty much, people who are dressed up as like an amusement park mascot. Like think of Goofy or like Donald Duck or Mickey Mouse, that kind of thing at like Disney World. Anyways. So once they kiss these guys, they turn into guys, literally, and these three are chosen to help protect the world from these people who are making puppets out of people. Okay, so maybe they're not really people, maybe they're more like deities. In any case, they have to defend the world from, everybody becoming puppets with these other guys. And so you're only chosen to be a guardian if you have an extremely pure heart. So our main character and her two friends, who she doesn't really know that well, all have a pure heart, and so they're going to work together to save the universe from people getting their hearts stolen, which are right here. Very cool concept so far. I did hear that this series does not finish because the author had a child, I suppose, or two, and so they never finished it, I guess. Lily Hoshino. But she also wrote Penguin Drum and Zakuro. So I did actually order Penguin Drum after reading this from the holiday sale because I did enjoy this so much. If you guys like Power Rangers, Sailor Moon, what else could I say? Kingdom Hearts, things like that, I would definitely recommend this series. I haven't read Sailor Moon yet, but this is like, the magical girl genre kind of a thing. So that's why I said it. I guess I could just say any magical girl manga or anime that's not a satire on the magical girl genre. You'd probably like this. But it is really good. I enjoy it so far. It is only 3 volumes long, like I said. I'm not sure if it's got a real ending, but I heard that it doesn't. So that is a bummer, but, that's life for you. Anyways, that is what I read this week. How about you guys? What did you read this week? Anything good? Sorry for the late upload. I'll still have a haul video. It should be out on Thursday. If I have to put it out on Friday, I will. And that will be New Year's Eve, so maybe I will do that. Maybe I won't. I don't know. But we'll see you next time. Goodbye.